The tables have turned. So I was just thinking about the original Color Purple, and it's amazing how this bear versus man question just brings up so many thoughts. And I was thinking about the Thanksgiving scene when Mr. expected everything to go the way it had always gone. And in that particular Thanksgiving meal, Celie did something she'd never done before. She cursed Mr. out. She told him all about himself, told the kids sitting at the table all about themselves, and she got up and she left. And he was left sputtering. And that's what it's like when, as Martin Luther King Jr. said, the cup of endurance has run over. See, Malcolm X said it this way: the chickens have come home to roost. The Bible says you eventually reap what you sow. God is not mocked. It may tarry, it may not come quickly, but you eventually reap what you sow. So all of that to say that for at least 4,000 years, in some places of the world, 9,000 years, patriarchy has existed. Before that, we had an egalitarian system or a matriarchal system where women and men did the same jobs. There were men and women hunters. There were men and women shamans. There were men and women artisans and farmers and warriors and hunters and everything. Because you didn't have the luxury of just leaving women at home. Everybody had to do what it took for the village to survive. And that meant that whatever your gift was, it was too valuable to waste. And you kind of saw a vision of that in the Black Panther movie, where you saw men and women doing the same jobs, in their own unique ways. And you saw the king and the queen mothers ruling together in unity. But at some point in history, men decided that women had too much power and they needed to be humbled and subjugated and oppressed and suppressed. And so there were laws created and religions that used to recognize both the divinity of male and female gods and goddesses were outlawed and demonized. And we moved into this age that we've been in ever since. And that pendulum is swinging the other way, where women are now speaking up. Women are understanding their power. And the men who have been raised under patriarchy and have not expected women to speak up and tell the truth. It's so funny. You hear so many times men say that women dodge accountability. But this bear versus man thing, every man that is upset about it is a man dodging accountability. That's not saying that he is violent, but you don't have to be guilty of anything to recognize and admit that a problem exists. And anytime you're lying to yourself and trying to gaslight others to say that no problem exists, you are part of the problem, because denial allows things to continue that should be eradicated. There's a famous quote that happened right near the end of the Holocaust period. And I think it was said by a a priest or something like that, and he said, when they came for the Jews, I didn't say anything because I wasn't Jewish. And when they came for the gypsies, I didn't say anything because I wasn't a gypsy. And when they came for, the homosexuals, I didn't say anything because I wasn't homosexual. And he goes through and he lists all these different groups. And when they came for me, there was nobody left to say anything. And the point of that quote was that, as Martin Luther King Jr. said, injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. So the people that stand by and have perpetuated the system by not speaking out against it, that are still doing that at this moment, that's why you're so dangerous, because standing by is allowing more and more and more and more and more people to be harmed, more and more and more people to be lost, more and more people to have the trauma visited on them and on their families that happens when power and abuse go unchecked. And now the cup of endurance is run over, and people are beginning to speak out, and people are beginning to draw the light to the shadows and shine a light on all of these hidden and not always discussed realities. We have the bear versus man question. We have it coming out in different forms about the daughter. What would you say to your daughter? What would you want for your daughter? The bear or the man? The woman or the bear? And then we have the white woman versus the bear. We have even people talking about how black men are to black women what the police or the bear have been to black men. Okay, so there's so many different versions of this, as I said, and we're just exploring and seeing that we have to speak out. And when people speak out, we have to not gaslight them to tell them to be quiet and tell them that they're silly, they're exaggerating, they're dramatic, they're overly emotional, but actually say, you're right, this needs to change.